The Solo Show is brought to you, as always, by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com.
Walt Disney once said, "If we can dream it, we can do it." If your dream is to live near Disney World, then you can do it, and I can help. Hi, I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and I would appreciate the opportunity to make your dream a reality. I can help you decide which is best for you, a new construction home or pre-owned, based on your needs for size, neighborhood, and most importantly, your budget. How do I do that? Well, it's quite simple. I listen to what you want, and by using my experience as a realtor specializing in homes near Disney World for almost 15 years, I can find you the home you will love. Visit celebratingflorida.com and take your first step to making your dream a reality. I encourage you to create a free, no obligation account on my website. By doing so, you'll unlock the website's full potential and be able to enter specific criteria, save listings, and browse new properties sent to you by email. Remember, if you can dream it, we can do it.
Remember that website, celebratingflorida.com. And when you meet Victor, be sure to tell him the Solo Show sent you.
Emergency broadcast, if you can hear me.
We are not who we were when we started.
Imperial ships are already landing.
We need to speak out. We need to stand up.
Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot. A soldier.
Everything I did for the rebellion.
Revolutionary movements are spontaneously happening all over the galaxy. How those come together is the stuff of our story.
If season 1 laid the track, then season 2 is the juggernaut.
The Empire cannot win.
Well, they haven't won yet.
We're building a real army.
The rebellion's everywhere now.
Galaxy of opportunities.
The insurgents have weapons at this point.
We're counting on it.
These 12 episodes are going to take us over the next 4 years into Rogue One. The complexity of the show, the possibilities of the show. It has to be all in.
Nobody's allowed in here.
You're thinking like a thief.
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader.
The size and scale of this production is unparalleled. The sets and the costumes are breathtaking.
Everyone does the homework. Everyone takes the time, and you can tell.
Proceed.
This is it. This is what you live for.
It's human, it's incredibly truthful, and it just happens to be in a galaxy far, far away.
Scott, were you visiting friends?
Why do you ask?
I'm curious by nature.
I have friends everywhere.
All right, it checks out. We can record this podcast. He passed the test. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Solo Show. I am Stan Solo as always, and we are doing the Roundtable discussion. Not a very round table, it's a very small table. Andor Season 2, Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Ever been to Gorman? I have friends everywhere. And what a festive evening. Scott Clark, Jedi Scott, is here with us today, and that's our roundtable. It's just him and I. We're going to have a fun discussion.
Yep.
We're going to go into spoilers in a bit, but we're going to start off a little bit spoiler-free. What do we got? This is 1 year. Well, I guess that's getting into spoilers. What do you think, Scott, so far?
I like it. It's keeping my interest. Between season 1 and this season, this is some of the best Star Wars. They've been out for years, so I enjoy it. I like it. It's a different take on things. It's suspenseful. It's a spy. I like it. It's good.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm loving these series. I can hardly wait for the only thing is I really like the 3 episodes coming out at a time, but my gosh, that's a lot of watching to do and research to do for these shows.
No, it is. And if you try to watch everything on Tuesday night, that makes it for a long night.
Yeah, exactly.
I did it for the first 3, then this last grouping of episodes. I made it through 4 and 5, and then I didn't hit episode 6 until a few days later. So
okay, I found these three to be a little bit more confusing. I watched them a second time, and then I realized I kind of fell asleep a few times the first time I watched them. So that might have been part of the reason why I was confused.
Well, I think along with the first season, you can't be distracted watching this show. You have to be focused. If you're off, as you did, falling asleep, or if you're playing around on your phone or iPad, it's easy to miss them.
Yeah.
You almost have to be focused and knowing what's going on and paying attention constantly, because it's so much stuff going on between everything. And you got to pay attention to the dialogue.
It's a real story. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I always say, like, Rogue One put the wars in Star Wars. This one kind of puts there's a lot of story in this one.
No, there is.
Yeah. Anyways, we want to get into the spoilers. We want to kind of, if you're confused, maybe you can listen to us and we might be able to help you out. Because we're going to go planet by planet instead of time by time. I think that's a quicker way to do things, seeing as how we're doing 3 episodes at a time. But before we do that, we got a message from our latest sponsor. So let's hear that.
Have you been looking for love in all the wrong places? Visit Alderaan and look for love in all the wrong places. While you're here, you can visit the Royal Palace and see the crown jewels in person. Alderaan, the place in the galaxy where you can see great works of art in the finest museums, sports of all sorts, and of course, the most relaxing spas this side of Naboo. All culture, all heritage, all countryside, all sports, all entertainment, all escapes, Alderaan. It's all here. Best part is, our peace agreement with the Empire, it's all safe. This has been a paid advertisement for Tourism Alderaan.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. We should go to Alderaan.
Yeah, I'm so glad they got an agreement with the Empire. That place is going to be safe forever.
Oh, yeah. What could go wrong?
Exactly.
It's wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, Ken just kills it.
That was a good one. I loved it. All righty. So we're going to start off in Coruscant, and we get the domestic side of Star Wars with Bix and Cass. They're living together. They're in a safe house apartment. Last week, we kind of were asking, are they married? Because she mentioned that she had a husband, and everybody said, no, she was lying. They're not together. I guess they're together.
Well, they're definitely living together, and they seem to be a couple. I know we talked a little bit about this off the show, with him not wearing a ring or wearing a ring. He's a spy, so he has to put on a show to other people, so it makes you think twice about it. But I think clearly this episode shows they're definitely a couple.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely a couple. She still sleeps with a blaster under her pillow. But
well, that's because she has some PSD going on.
Yeah. Then we zip over to Mon Mothma. She's asking the other senators to vote with her to help Gorman. Wait, I wasn't quite clear what vote she was asking about. Like, what did she want done exactly?
I think she wants to try to get support in the Senate and try to get some votes in there to get the Empire out of there. That's what I took out of it.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what I took out of it. She's trying to get the votes to get them to either vacate or whatever. But then she was talking to the Gorman senator, and he's like, "Oh, this is all right. I don't want to rock the boat, so to speak."
True, yeah. And then there was that one alien that was really pro-Empire. He was kind of a bigger guy I've never seen that alien before. And once he starts going, I guess Mon Mothma kind of realized that this is a lost cause.
She's beating a dead horse, so to speak.
Yeah. So Luthen's Imperial informer, Lonnie, tells Luthen that the Empire is doing something at Gorman, but he didn't know what it was. So Luthen's thinking, well, I got to investigate this because there's a lot of activity happening at Gorman. He doesn't know what's going on. So Luthen asks Cassian to go to Gorman, find out what's going on, meet with the leader of the Gorman front, and he says that Gorman would be a remarkable place to turn our way because they're very influential. They have a lot of money in Gorman. It's a rich planet.
Yeah.
So Gorman wants them to get Luthen wants to get Gorman on the rebels' side, almost at all cost.
Yeah, that's what it sure sounds like. Let's let's get him involved, and he knows it's not going to be good with them. He even speaks about this later in this episode or the next episode. Is like, Cassian has his reservations about it after he already goes there, and Luthen's like, oh, the flame burns brighter when it goes bad.
Yeah. And so we were mentioning about the ring. So there was that close-up shot that they were doing where Cassian and Bix were kind of holding hands. It was I don't know. It was kind of like a weird sensual love thing that they were.
Yeah.
And he had no ring on. So then he gets the instruction and he gets his backstory to go to Gorman, and he's told that he lives in a small unit above a designer studio. He's supposed to be a designer,
fashion designer,
and that he arrived at Coruscant with his brother. Yet when he arrives at Gorman, he has a wedding ring on. So I don't know if wedding rings even exist in the Star Wars universe, but you could see him kind of playing with a wedding ring when he's looking out the window. Am I reading too much into this? Is it just a ring because he's a rich designer?
Yeah, I think he's trying to play the part.
Yeah.
All hoity-toity, the nice clothes, the nice glasses, the jewelry. I just think he's trying to play the part.
Yeah, I think so. And then the other thing, too, I didn't quite understand is so Luthen's assistant there, she has all these different listening device bugs all over the place. She has that big console, and she almost like a DJ trying to find these different signals all over the galaxy. I was expecting to hear Fulcrum, to hear Ahsoka.
Oh,
I didn't hear it, but I thought for sure they would put that in there as one of like the staticky things.
Yeah, who knows? That's something I pay close attention in coming episodes.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear a Fulcrum and like a just in between static things, at least as an Easter egg. But why did you place the bug in that art gallery?
It's the guy what's his name? The criminal, the gangster.
Yeah.
It seems like he has connections in the Empire, so maybe to get some type of slip ups and this and that, get some information. I guess it doesn't hurt having it in there.
Yeah. I mean, they find out that they're going to be examining all the art, and they're going to be recertifying.
Yeah, because one of the pieces of art was fake, so I was curious. It must not have been any of Luthen's art because they took another piece.
Yeah. So they're like, we have to get this bug out of there, and it's going to track it, because if they don't, it's going to track it back to us. I don't know how you can, from a microphone, be able to track it back to where it's sending.
Maybe because that piece of art they got it from Luthen.
They did, because she said this was my favorite piece. It was hard to get rid of.
Yeah, so that's probably how they would track it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So they figure we got to get this bug out of this piece of art, and Luthen is like I told you not to do that. You didn't listen to me. What did we get from? We got no information from that bug. I knew we shouldn't have done that. It's easy to say I told you so.
True, but you never know.
Yeah. We find out that Biggs is taking drugs to help her sleep. So while Cass is in Gorman, Cassian goes to Gorman.
Yeah.
Luthen comes to visit Biggs, and he's telling her about, taking drugs will help you sleep now. He says, but when you get off of it, your dreams are going to come back even worse. He seems to have a bit of experience in these type of things.
Yeah, I wonder if he's had some issues in the past with his dealings and all that, or his sleepless nights and stuff like that, or people that he's had, so to speak, put down or kill,
Yeah. Well, he has a few skeletons in his closet.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Let's face it. Was his plan to visit her, to send her on a mission, and he kind of realized she's not fit for it? Or was that a house call, a courtesy call? What was, I think.
If I had to guess, I think it was to put her on a mission and realized, hey, maybe I'm going to take a step back from you after seeing her condition.
Yeah.
But, to jump forward a little bit, even being on Coruscant, they go in there and essentially put him on a mission? Or do you think that was between Cassian and Bix doing what they did to the Doctor?
I want to talk to that point when we get to it, but yeah, I have a theory on that. I have a theory on it, because it never really was quite so clear, but I do have a theory on it.
I do got one more question before we move on. I thought it was weird how Luthen got a hold of him was by flashing that light on the building.
Yeah.
I would think,
Like,
eventually, hey, why does this light only blink every now and then on certain times of the week or whatever it is? It's not something that would be consistent. It only flashes whenever.
Like, you ever notice whenever that light flashes, the next day there's an explosion somewhere on Coruscant?
Yeah, exactly. Something went down here. Yeah. I just thought that was weird how they did that. Hey, give me a call. I need to see you guys.
Yeah. It's like a bat signal. So Cassian's on his way to Gorman. Well, Cyril is working at Gorman, in Gorman. I'm thinking for sure these two are going to meet. Like, Cyril's going to see Cassian and recognize him.
If I had to put money down on it, I would have put money down on it and said they were going to run into each other. I thought for sure the cat was going to be out of the bag. They were going to run into each other and something was going down. Yeah. I was shocked that it didn't.
But instead, Cyril goes to visit Kendra on Coruscant. So he comes to visit Kendra.
Or Deidre?
What's her name? Kendra.
I thought it was Deidre.
Deidre, you're right, Deidre. Why do I have Kendra written down? Deidre. Yes, it's pretty bad when you can't read your own writing and you're typing.
That's all right.
She says you only have an hour. What is she got an appointment in an hour? Another guy?
Yeah, they got some weird relationship going on. I don't.
Are they still together?
Yeah, I don't know about that. The last group of episodes, they were definitely a couple, and now I don't know. It just seems kind of weird.
A lot changed in that last year.
Yeah.
Cassian's on
Gorman.
No. Cyril realizes that Deidre is having him followed. So that was kind of weird too. Like he got, when he came there, he said, you're having me followed. No, he's realizing he's being followed on Gorman, right?
Yes. No. He knows he was followed on Gorman, but then Deidre, I think, told him, yeah, we followed you. I had someone follow you over to here to make sure you're not being followed.
Right. Yeah. I found that all that kind of confusing, even after the second watch. Cyril visits his mom. I'm assuming you fast forwarded through that.
Yeah, that's just painful watching those two.
He had his blue milk. Cyril. Anyway, so I guess he tells Deidre what's going on Gorman. So she takes him to meet her boss. He kind of already says he's siding with the front, and now he's talking to Deidre's boss. For a while there, I thought he was playing a double agent. Like he was, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he seems like he's sympathetic towards the rebellion on Gorman.
Yeah.
But now, and he goes in and meets Deidre's boss, and he's all about the Empire, and they're following, following everything to the T. This is working out just fine.
Yeah, because I think he got lucky there, because he even was giving the rebellion information. Like he stole that information, and he did that before he visited Deidre, right? Or was that after? No, that might have been after.
No, but I think that was the whole. I think that's why he got moved there to begin with.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, that's why he got moved there, because they knew they could count on him.
Yeah.
And being an outsider, being there for a while.
You're right. So after Cassian is done on Gorman, he returns. We'll talk about Cassian and Gorman when we get to Gorman, but Cassian returns from Gorman, and Bix tells him that Luthen came to visit while he was away. He gets pretty upset about that at Luthen, and he waits until he says he waits till after I leave to come visit. He says, "Wait, to make matters worse, Luthen and I rode back together, and Luthen never mentioned it." So he gets upset about the visit.
Yeah, I didn't understand that so much. I don't know why Cassian blew up over that.
Well,
I think he made such a big deal about it.
I think he thinks that Bix is in a very sensitive spot right now, and a very vulnerable spot, and he doesn't like Luthen in using her as one of his chess pieces,
trying to manipulate her to go do this or do that. No, that makes sense.
He even says Luthen must know we're having this conversation. He says he doesn't do anything without a reason. What is his end game here? Like he's trying to figure it out. So he goes to visit Luthen and asks him, why did you visit Bix? Like, what was the purpose? And Luthen says that he wants Bix to be as strong as Cassian wants him to be strong, but she's broken now, he tells her. And so then Cassian says the weirdest thing. He says it would be easier if I was alone. He says, I came with you to be part of something. He says, you want my blood. He says, you help me work this out. At this point, I thought he was almost asking Luthen to kill Bix or something. That's what it almost felt like. He was saying, like, I want to be part of this. He says, you want my blood? He says, you have to fix this. You have to fix her.
Maybe that's why to fix it is to go kill that doctor.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So that was Luthen's idea was, well, if she takes out this doctor herself, that should put an end to the nightmares.
Well, wasn't being back on Coruscant where they talked about bringing the Secret Service, Empire's Secret Service, or whatever you want to call them, ISB? Mm-hmm. Didn't they talk about bringing like the doctor involved in it?
Yeah,
so did Luthen know something about that already? How he was going to be there already, and you could kill two birds with one stone, essentially.
I think so, because I think that they were really liking the results that the doctor was getting, so they wanted to incorporate the doctor's motives or his style of torture and have him train other doctors, in quotation marks, how to inflict this type of torture.
Well, the doctor
basically he put a headset on her that had amplified screams of children dying. was the form of torture that he did.
Well, and the doctor didn't even recognize Bix either.
No. She was just a number. She was just a number.
So he's done it quite a few times.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Val and Cinta. They meet up at Starbucks and have a cup of caf. From the sounds of things, it's they haven't seen each other like hardly at all over the past year. So they have this mission that Luthen's sending them on. Well, when we get to Gorman, we'll talk about Gorman. So they're going to help the Gorman resistance front steal weapons. Is that what they were stealing?
Yeah, to steal the weapons. And I'm curious to see what Cinta's story was, because she told Val that she got injured.
Yeah.
You know? And what did she get injured by killing that Mon Mothma's boyfriend? Is that how she got injured?
Tay?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, because that was like the last time they really. Well, I don't think she also didn't like it that Cinta was on Coruscant, never told her a year ago. She was shocked to see that Cinta was even on Coruscant.
No, that was Coruscant or Chandrila?
Or Chandrila, sorry. Yeah, Mon Mothma's planet. Yeah. Or Mon Mothma's resort, whatever. Yeah. Yeah,
I'd like to know. I don't know if we'll ever find that story out now, but been curious to see what that was all about.
Yeah. That's the thing about this. Like, we're getting like these 1 week periods or these weekends or whatever, and then there's a year in between. Like, a lot seems to be happening in this year that we're not getting the full story. We're getting stories from people telling them. Like, for example, there was this Imperial agent that saw Bix, so Luthen or Andor kills him.
We don't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know too much other than them telling us about it.
Yeah, that's the thing too with these episodes. I like how they go into a year, but I'd like to know some of the little bit of the backstory in between that year. So what happened? What is Mon Mothma mad at Luthen because Luthen knocked off her friend or boyfriend?
She didn't seem to be too mad because the next scene on Coruscant, they go to the art show. Mon Mothma's there with her husband. They run into Bail Organa, who's been recast. I wouldn't have even known if people didn't mention it online. It was such a short clip.
Yeah, but God, if you're used to who was the guy that played him?
Is it Jimmy Smits or? Yeah,
Jimmy Smits played him, but who played the original Bail Organa? Either way, though, it's just I guess he was busy and he couldn't do the role.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see his face in it, though, even for the short period of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even notice the difference. To tell you the truth, he said, "Hey, Bale." Oh, yeah, it's Bale. Also, at this art show,
they had to do that because he plays a big part in the rebellion.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to be seeing more of Bale in the future episodes.
Yeah, I would have to.
Because like seriously, he couldn't come over for that 5 minutes thing. There's got to be more to him.
Yeah, in later episodes.
Yeah. Also, at this art show is director Krennic, who we've learned from in Rogue One. It was interesting to see Krennic meeting Mon Mothma and Luthen face to face.
Well, it seems like Krennic and Mon Mothma, they were already like button heads a little bit. Like they know there's some history back there.
Yeah,
and they both know it.
Yeah. So Luthen's aide is they're removing the listening device that they installed in one of the small in the art pieces, while Mon Mothma and Krennic are exchanging words about how the Empire is running the galaxy. It was a very interesting conversation. Like they were, like she didn't come right out and say, you guys are horrible, but she was saying you guys are horrible.
Yeah.
So after the party, Luthen and his assistant are leaving the party. She hands him the listening device, and I like how Luthen says, "My face hurts from smiling so much." And he says, "We should have killed Krennic when we were up there." I thought that was a good line.
Oh, that was classic. Hey, history would have changed if they would have.
Yeah. I mean, they would have got someone else to help build the Death Star, but
no,
there was only like 3 or 4 Imperial officers there. Like, he wouldn't have taken much to offer.
No, they've been fairly easy to do, but I think if they would have did it, everybody's cover would have been gone and it would have been done.
Yeah. The doctor that tortured Bix. So this is the scene. So then kind of staying on Coruscant, the doctor that tortured Bix is walking into his apartment and Bix is waiting for him. She sits him down in his chair, puts his torture device on him, turns it to 11.
Oh, I loved it.
And walks out. I'm assuming this was Luthen's assignment. Like, I'm not sure if this was the assignment that he originally wanted to have. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, if it wasn't Luthen's assignment, you're essentially attacking the Empire on their home turf right there.
Yeah.
And doing it, I could see it going either way. But then if it was Cassian and Bix just doing it off on their own, they're jeopardizing a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
So.
I think Cassian saying you have to fix this. This is how Luthen fixed it by being able to get her access into his apartment and having her being able to do him in.
Yeah. Then if she does this, hopefully, her nightmares go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Between essentially frying his brain, then as they left, they blew up the building or blew up that floor.
Yeah. I like it when she's leaving and there's that Imperial officer or that Imperial there, and he goes, "Hey, you can't be in here," and she just shoots him.
Yeah,
just keeps walking to the elevator, and they're walking away, and they do that classic shot where they're walking away and they blow up.
No, that scene was classic. I enjoyed that part.
Yeah. So that was pretty much everything that happened at Coruscant. I don't think we missed anything important.
No, because that was over 3 episodes back and forth going on there. So
Yeah. So then I'm not sure if this is working out, but I hope people are understanding how we're doing this. So then Gorman is kind of like the next planet that we visit. It's not like they kind of flip back and forth between these different planets. Yeah. But so on Gorman, Cyril's working there now. He's moved up in his job and he's been transferred to Gorman, and he has his own office and his own staff and everything. He's living the high life. But I guess Deidre's still on Coruscant. He calls his mom and tells him that she's telling him he's being played and that they just put him on the shelf. She tells him that he found a woman that actually wants to be with him. He had a career and he just walks away.
Do you think Deidre is playing Cyril a little bit? Like he's a pawn? You think she really has feelings for him at this point, or she's like she's eventually knows that he's going to be collateral damage?
I think so. I think that's kind of how she's feeling. It's kind of like they haven't come out and said it one way or another, like that she's playing him. I mean, the mother totally thinks that he's being played.
Well, you think you go back when they were on Coruscant and they were only together for an hour.
Yeah. You
would think, Cyril's kind of upset. He wanted to be there, I don't know, I guess all night or, the whole time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, I could only see you for an hour. Let's turn off the lights and call it good.
Well, she does have that agreement with the mother that she's going to go visit her once a month. So maybe that's why that's all the time that she gave him, because she has to go visit his mom. That was part of the agreement.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So Patrick decided to join us here. So we kind of talked about everything that happened to Coruscant already. Just to get Patrick caught up.
Hold on, Patrick. Do you have anything about Coruscant? About what's your take on some of this stuff and what you liked about Coruscant before we get too much into Gorman?
So it was very interesting to see just how stark of a contrast it was between the upper elites of Mon Mothma and where the safe house is that Cassian and Bix are staying. Like, it looks scary in that building. It looks like a prison building. But besides that, no, there wasn't. It seemed like there wasn't too much that happened there until like the very end of the last episode. It was sort of a staging area. Interactions happened, but no actions happened. But
Yeah, we talked about already about them blowing up the Imperial officers.
So do you think that was an order from Luthen, or do you think that was just something that Cassian did?
See, I think when you go back and listen to this episode, you hear what I already
just had this discussion.
We just talked about it. But I want to hear what you think. What do you think?
I think that it was an order from Luthen. Cassian woke up. Bix was staring into the distance, kind of drugged out, and she says, "It's blinking. Whatever it is, I want to come along." I think it was one that Luthen gave them. You know.
Yeah, that's what I agree.
Yeah, I was thinking though too, if it wasn't from Luthen and if it was just Cassian and Bix doing it on their own accord, I think they'd be jeopardizing a lot by doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a completely unspoken part of the plan that Luthen was going to be out at all of these parties. Like it was some big night, right? There was all of these parties going on.
He has his alibi.
He's got his alibi, and he sent two people to go and do one thing that doesn't really, I mean, in the grand scheme, that doesn't harm the Empire. It just harms one aspect of their torture, right?
Well, it kind of does, because they were planning on using this guy's devices and his technique widespread. They were talking.
Right. It keeps them from gaining extra power, but I don't say what I meant to say is like it doesn't reduce the Empire's power. It just keeps it from going up anymore.
Elevating it.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys already talked about the recasting of Bale.
Yeah.
I have no qualms.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I hope that he has more to do in future episodes, because I kind of hate to think that this poor actor got recast for a 3-minute cameo.
Oh, yeah, and that's a really big actor to fill a big actor's shoes in a big role. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say towards the later episode, he's going to be playing more bigger part in this.
Yeah.
I just don't see him playing a little 30-second stint and being done with it.
Well, there's got to be something. There's got to be some reason that the Empire blows Andor up, or not Andor, Alderaan up first.
Wait a minute, Alderaan gets blown up. That's a safe. They made a deal with the Empire that they're going to be safe now.
Yeah,
we played the ad. We played the ad that Alderaan's safe place now.
We wanted to take a vacation there.
Yeah, we were already booking our flights.
But so like there's got to be something that they do that's above and beyond just Leia being where she was at that time, right?
You know what? I never thought about that. You're right. There has to be a backstory why that was the first planet that they decided to destroy.
Why wouldn't it have been Gorman?
Exactly.
If this is the time frame, right? So,
no.
I mean, it's Tarkin.
We'll see what type of stupid thing Bale does in the future episode, probably.
Yeah, maybe Bale's taking the fall for all this instead of Mon Mothma.
Or Luthen, or whatever Luthen has done,
Yeah. Okay, so on Gorman, Cyril finds out his phone's being bugged.
You mean Space France? Space France?
Yeah,
Gorman is basically Space France.
Oh, yeah. They don't know how to fight, you mean?
Oh, no.
Is that what you mean?
I meant their accents and their style.
No, I get what you're saying, though, Patrick. It was like Space France.
Yeah, it's basically like Paris.
Capital of the world. Yeah, the fashion capital of the world. They have no army.
Yeah.
Their wine is their spiders.
Right.
Yeah. So he's talking to his mom, and there's like 3 rebel soldiers, like the Gorman front, listening to this conversation. I thought that was kind of overkill. They needed 3 of them to be listening to that conversation.
Well, I mean, he is an Imperial employee, right? The Bureau of Standards is a department within the Imperial bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So he's an Imperial. He's not an officer in the Navy or anything, but he works for the Empire. So they're trying to vet him.
But my point is that we got 3 people listening to that conversation. We don't even have 3 people at our roundtable discussion that want to listen to that conversation.
Well, I think that goes to show why Cassian.
One of them fast forwarded through that part.
Yeah, I think that's why Luthen ends up sending Cassian and then the other 2 later. Is to check them out and teach them how to do this, because they're obviously doing something wrong.
Yeah. I like the line where they said the mother is terrifying when they were listening. They were listening to the conversation.
Yeah, at least they're not the only ones, right?
Yeah. Then the spider salesman gives Cyril a spider with a message in it to come to the Gorman Front meeting. I liked how they're watching pod races on TV.
Yeah.
When Cyril goes back to the office.
Yeah, this show gives you a bunch of those little drops of
little Easter eggs.
Yeah, if we're going by locations, one of our locations we'll talk about in a little while was another one of those that will come up much later in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, doing 3 episodes, it seems like it was so long ago that they had the little passing those spiders. That seems like it was like 2 weeks ago. I'm having a hard time how we're doing 4, 5, and 6. And it's like, God, that seems like that was so long ago.
Because it was episode 4, yeah.
So he gets back to his office and he lets Deidre know that he's being followed. They broke into his home. They most likely tapped his phone. And now he's being invited to a meeting. After the meeting, they ask Cyril for help, asking what's in that Empire building, the building that the Empire is building. ISP Tech visits Cyril's office, and they are doing a sweep of his office looking for bugs or hidden mics or anything like that. Why did they choose this? I don't think this is a standard procedure. Did Deidre send them? It just seemed weird.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this was sort of like a false flag operation by the ISB to make it look like Cyril is an innocent victim who's just trying to do his job, and then it also right, and it also gives him a reason to be angry at the ISB because he knows that as soon as the ISB goes in, yes, they say they're looking for bugs, but they're just planting one. Like that's what they're doing.
So they end up finding one.
They find one, but I mean, of course, ISB. So now we're just bugging our own. So he has this reason to be angry at the Empire.
Okay,
I think it's all show.
Yeah, all show.
Well, yeah, because the Resistance has one of their agents working in Cyril's office as well, and she kind of like, well, hey, guess what? This guy's angry at the Empire. He has access to what's going on. He has all this computers. So he meets with the Gorman Front, and it feels like they're convincing Cyril to switch sides and help them. Am I right in this, or is Cyril playing them?
Well, he's essentially playing them, but you're right. They think they can convert him to their side and to help him out.
Yep. Cyril is going in as a double agent.
Yep.
Yeah, but which side is he actually on? Because he downloads these files.
No, I think he's on the Empire side.
But it's not like as if the Empire said, here, give them these files.
Well, but later on, they essentially do, because in his briefing with Deidre and Partagaz, I can't remember. I think Partagaz asks, "What do you need?" And he says, "I need you to keep the schedule exactly the same. I need you to keep everything on time. They're going to attack. They're going to do it. I need you to keep the schedule the same."
Okay.
And to go on that too, that we didn't talk about when we were on Coruscant when they had that meeting was Cyril was like saying this is the best day of his life. He's all about the Empire.
Oh yeah.
So I don't. They may seem like he has some sentiments towards the Gorman Rebellion, but he's all about the Empire and trying to make his way up.
Well, let me go back for just a second. Then, if we're talking about what happened on Coruscant, how about that little like they're standing off set? Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Deidre tells him.
Yeah,
it was the most awkward, strange.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if there's people trying to look in. That's why she wants to turn off the lights.
Well, right, and I think I don't know. I may be.
We
guessing
all know
here.
where it was leading to, but
right. I may be reading into it, but I think Deidre doesn't want to like Cyril, but she does.
Oh.
And she's using him in this plot on Gorman, and so she needs to keep, and again, like I might be reading into it, but I would need some way to keep distance from this person, because this person could easily die tomorrow when the Gorman Front attack and a stray blaster bolt hits them, right?
Yeah.
So I think turning the lights off is one, yes, to leave cover, but also she don't want to look at Cyril.
Yeah, don't want to look at him.
I don't blame her.
Yeah. So Cyril, while he's on Coruscant, Cassian goes to Gorman, and he's pretending to be a designer. We talked about that. So he teaches the daughter of the Gorman front there kind of a lesson, like, don't trust anyone. Like she's like more than willing to share information with him. And he goes, how do you know I'm not an Imperial spy? How do you know I'm not this? How do you know I'm not that? He says, you're too trusting. He's realizing that these Gormans are not professionals.
Yeah, they're amateurs.
Rightfully so. They trusted Cyril right off the bat, not knowing how long he's been there, but they want to feed everything to him at that first meeting.
Yeah. And he says to her, he says, can you tell the people that are following me, just send them home? He says, all they're doing is just drawing attention. He says, they're not good. Like,
well, you think that was Luthen's way of trying to get Cassian to try to train him and be on there for a lot longer than just the day or two that he was there?
Yeah.
I knew he was upset, but did he want him to be there for a while?
I think Luthen wanted Cassian to help steal those weapons. So I think, but so the other thing too is so I guess Cassian somehow was able to contact Luthen to pick him up, like to meet him on that other planet. But like if Luthen was shocked that he was only there for a couple of days.
Yeah. So the way that I interpreted it was that Luthen sent Cassian there to essentially evaluate the situation. Right. What are these Gorman up to? Like what are they really like? Give me an assessment.
Yeah.
And then also advise, right? Like you're the one that's going to be on the ground looking at what they've got. Check their plan out, try to help them out, make them a little bit better, and then come and report back to me. Mm-hmm. And then we can send them more help.
Cassian did, and Luthen didn't like his response.
Right, because I think Luthen wanted him to be a bit more of a leader, more of a teacher, right? And I guess that's what we got in the conversation later was, I need you to think like a leader.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to think like a leader.
Right.
So he says, don't get involved with them. They don't know what they're doing. He says they're bad news. He says you can't teach.
They started too late. They
started too late. Yeah. Like Yoda. Too old. So he says, forget about it. So Luthen sends Val and Cinta to help out.
Right, and they're straight soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Val is pretty good. She's obviously the leader from that group from last season, so she's up there. But Cassian's a better spy, definitely. I think.
Yeah.
Right. And Cinta is straight up soldier. That's all she is. She's a top-notch assassin. That's all she does.
Yeah. So the plan is to steal these Imperial weapons from the convoy of these 3 trucks, I guess, and the Empire's secret task force. They know all about what's going on. Like this is all a setup. So I thought it was interesting how Luthen almost wants the Gorman to fail because he says. Like Cassian says, they'll burn. He goes, but they'll burn bright, and it will create sympathy. He says, it will create sympathy for the rebellion because they're very influential. They're a very rich planet. We want them on our side, and if they burn, it will send shockwaves. Basically, is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And the Empire wants the Empire to fail because they want these rebels to do something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want the resources from the planet and take the resources without you did this. Now we got to put you under military occupation here.
The LSB is essentially engineering the reason for in a way, this is like episode 1, basically, right? This is Palpatine engineering a reason to start a war.
Right. Yeah. And Luthen. So I thought it was funny how the Empire wants the Empire to fail this mission, and Luthen wants them to fail this mission almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, so they basically they get all the weapons. But there's a little bit of a wrestle between this farmer that comes by and he wants to be involved and he wants to know what's going on. And the spider salesman boy happens to have a blaster where he's not supposed to have. And there's a bit of a wrestle and the blaster goes off and it kills Cinta. And then the farmer, for some reason, is one that picks her up and carries her away to
Earlier in the arc, he was one of the guys at the meeting who was saying like, we need to do something, we need to really act. I think that guy may end up being more of a leader of the Gorman front as we move forward, if we still stay on Gorman. I really hope we see the actual Gorman massacre. I mean, let me rephrase. I don't want to see it.
I want blood.
I hope that it takes place during the time that they are showing us.
Well, I think we see a preview of it, in the previews of Andor season 2. We see some type of battle going on there. Now, to what extreme, I don't know, but we do definitely see a battle going there.
Okay. I don't watch trailers, so.
So Vel tells...
Sorry for the spoiler, then.
Nah, it's all good.
Vel tells the Gorman wants to be the war on to be soldier, the spider guy. She basically tells him that you'll be paying for this death for the rest of your life.
I'm surprised Val didn't knock him off right there.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
So we haven't even talked about Saw. We gotta wrap up here. So over on Saw Gerrera's planet, how do you pronounce it? Dakar?
I think it's Dakar.
Dakar?
Yeah. Which, like we mentioned, is the same planet from episode, what is that? 7 and the very beginning of 8.
Yeah. So Wilmon brings Saw some sort of gizmo. I wasn't quite sure what this thing is for. Stealing gas or?
Yeah, it seems like some universal device to break into a piping system that, like, depending on how I didn't quite fully understand. It's like lock picking, but you're breaking into a gas system.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't do it right, it
blows up
like a massive explosion.
Yeah. So Saw wants Will to teach one of his guys how to use it, whatever this thing is. So Will teaches the guys how to use it. He never really does quite get it all the way. And I thought Saw basically said we're going to kill Wilmon. We're going to kill Will. We don't need this kid anymore. And he says, well, just we can tell Luthen, crossfire or something. So we'll make up something. So then this guy says to him, he says, I need to focus only one variation. If I knew where we were going, I would be better off. And then you see the leg go off in Saw's head. Like, this guy's a spy. He's working for the Empire.
Then he gives him some false information.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. The second watching, you can kind of see Saw. You can almost see the light go on in his head where he's like, oh, I know who you are. I know who you're with. So Saw tells him it's the Markar's moon, Bean Valley. That's where we're going. And then so Saw points the gun at Will, and he shoots the other guy. He says, and he yells, "He's a traitor! He's a traitor!" I guess it was because he knew, because this guy was trying to get. I don't know. The guy's story seemed fair to me. Like, if I only knew how to do one thing instead of all 8 combinations, I only have to memorize one combination instead of 8 combinations. I'd be better off.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So it turns out Saw was right, and the Empire is now going to the wrong location.
Yeah.
And so Saw is now taking Will to work the gizmo, and they go to this Imperial planet and to steal fuel, or what was it called?
Rhydonium.
Rhydonium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that what that device is? The steal the gas, essentially?
Yeah, it seemed like some way to break into the Rhydonium piping system without there being sparks and blowing everything up. It would break you into the system and put a new port in, and then you can just suck it out. That's how I looked at it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So why does Rhydonium, if you're doing this, you think it would be kind of like a tight seal and there wouldn't be gas floating all over the place? Like, as soon as he breaks into it, and Saw's right in there. Oh, my sister, I missed you.
Right, that was very weird.
Yeah, and he starts sniffing these fumes of the Rhydonium, and
he had some sentimental attachment to those fumes.
Well, so that's on Andor in the Clone Wars arc, when we first meet Saw and his sister. They're fighting there in those jungles, right? And that was a little bit of the story that he was telling in that monologue of how he was in the jungles and our clothes would just melt off of us. but I think that might have been later after Anakin and Ahsoka left, because that may have been like after his sister died, and he may have been put in like a prison work camp. At least that's how I think it worked in the timeline. And then there was what he's saying in that story is that while they were working, there was a Rhydonium leak and everyone started itching, everyone at the same time.
Guards, everybody.
Right. But I got used to it because Rhydo loves me. It's my sister. And she loves me.
And I can sniff it and I enjoy it and I love it.
Come on, boy.
Yeah, join me. Take your mask. And so he rips his mask off.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go jump off a bridge.
Well, that's
follow me, boy.
There was some that monologue was so crazy and so profound in so many weird ways, right?
I like how he says,
"You think I'm crazy?
Yeah,
well, maybe I am.
Yeah, you are.
But revolution's not for the sane."
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I mean, in a way, like he's not wrong, right? Like you kind of have to be a little bit off your rocker to go and like throw over the checkers board, you know, and that's what Saul wants to do. So
yeah, and I like how he's when he's telling his story, he says, "Old men couldn't handle the work; they fell and died right there while they were standing, and the next day there'd just be a few bones left."
Yeah.
A creature took him or something, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, like it was a good story. He's a really good storyteller.
Yeah. And I mean, come on, Forrest Whitaker is an Oscar-winning actor, and you've got him in this like ensemble cast. He's probably on screen for a grand total of like a minute and a half, 2 minutes across the whole 3 episodes. Ugh, and it had to be more than that because that monologue was like 5 minutes. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's badass crazy.
Yeah. Now. Here's a question.
I can't wait to see what he does that makes the rebellion turn on him.
Do you think that in Rogue One, that mask that he pulls off is Rhydonium?
So that's a good question. Is that Rhydonium or is that oxygen? Because he burnt his lungs beyond capacity that now he needs oxygen to live.
I think it's oxygen.
I would be willing to guess it might even be like a Bacta inhalant.
Yeah.
To try to fix the damage of breathing in all that Rhydonium. Because they say it burns you from the inside out.
Yeah, did you look when Jeddah was about ready to explode and he was ready to die? He just like disconnected it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes me think it's not Rhydonium then. Because he would have been inhaling that stuff as quickly as he could then.
I bet you it's like back to...
Yeah.
We need to ask somebody at Disney or Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out. Maybe. We'll find out. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Any other comments about Saw and the quarrel? I guess he says that when they're leaving, he says, take everything, whatever we don't take, burn. We're not coming back here.
Yep. And then the next people that use it are the Resistance.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's probably about 20 plus years from now?
Let's see. So this
3
is
BBY.
3 BBY. And then episode 7 is what, I think about 20. So yeah, it's like almost 25 years.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
The only other location that we didn't talk about was Port Steergard, part of the Rima trade route. And basically this is where Cassian and Luthen meet up after Cassian is done on Gorman. So Luthen can give him a lift back to Coruscant. This was very telling, this conversation that they had on the ship while they're traveling through hyperspace, where basically Cassian is saying, he told them that Gorman's not worth it. They're not trained, that they're not good. And he's saying, you didn't give them enough chance. You weren't there long enough. You didn't do your job properly. And he's saying there is nothing to do. There is nothing to see. And then Cassian kind of sees at this point that it doesn't matter who dies or anything. Luthen wants result.
Yeah, everybody's expendable to the cause.
Right. And Cassian's really realizing this at this point. How much different is Luthen to Krennic? They're almost the same person, only they're on opposite sides.
In many ways, they are the same person.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky in that my visual memory is I can watch something once and I can remember the images and I don't have to rewatch things. But I have gone back and watched Luthen's speech to Lonnie many times. It gives me goosebumps every time I watch it from season 1. And that's the speech where when Lonnie asks him, what have you sacrificed? Right. And Luthen tells him, I've sacrificed everything. Yeah. I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. Right. So he knows. That was really fun to see them face to face. And then that little joke as they're walking out. Oh, we should have shot Krennic.
Yeah. We talked about that. I honestly wouldn't have been much because only like 3 Imperials there.
Yeah, but since it was a holiday, like some Imperial holiday party, because Mon had to take that oath earlier in the day, right? Mm-hmm. So it was some like Imperial party thing. If you guys talked about this, I'm sorry to bring us back around. Why is it such a big deal that they get the listening device out of Skulden's office?
I think that's because it's tied to Luthen, to the art gallery.
Just in general, like that's the only thing is like we just can't have anything tie back to us.
Yeah, because they sold that piece of art to Skulden, and they're going to be examining all these art pieces to make sure that they're authentic. So when they're examining that particular art piece, they'll be, hey, wait a minute, there's a listening device in here. Who sold you this? Oh, we bought that from Luthen.
Yeah, and I guess you can't really trust Skulden because he's a mob boss.
Yeah.
Do you think that Uncle Harlow is Skulden?
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, because Deidre does say that she looked into Uncle Harlow, and you should be very proud of him.
Right. You don't want that going around, right?
Yeah.
That's just like that's a thing that it was probably an idea somebody else came up with that like floated into my head, and I'm like, it's stuck, and I'm like, man, that would be interesting.
Is his name Haldren Skaldron? Aldro, what's his name? Uncle Haldro.
Uncle Harlow.
So Harlow Skaldron?
I don't know.
Is that his first name? Because maybe Skaldron is his last name.
I don't know. Do we even think it's even something that we'll find out, or if it's just?
I don't know if it matters. It would just be fun if it ends up being like this guy he's a mob boss, and he's essentially let loose because he's a benefactor of the Empire, and he keeps helping his nephew move up, and and I don't know. It would just be a fun little wrinkle.
Yeah. We're halfway through this season.
It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's only been 2 weeks. We're halfway through the season.
Yeah, like I said, it feels like we've been going on for a month.
Well, this past week, I could only watch one a day. After 50 minutes, like, I got to go do something. I can't sit around for another 2 hours.
Yeah, I tried watching them back to back to back, and I snapped through most of them, and then I had to go back to rewatch them.
I watched the first 2 episodes on Tuesday night, and then I couldn't make it through the third one, and I ended up watching that one just yesterday.
I really wish they would come out Tuesday morning, because I'm off Tuesdays. I could watch them during the day, no problem.
No, that would make it easier trying to get through all 3 of them in one day, at least a couple hours earlier than what they're doing.
No, like 12 hours earlier.
I'm wondering if the reason that they are releasing them this way is the people who are going to binge, they're going to binge no matter what. And then the people who want to watch it as soon as they can, but just have other stuff, like most people, they have to come back and keep the streaming numbers up, right? Like they've got 3 episodes. I watched an hour a day for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Whereas if they would have had just that one episode, I would have watched that 1 hour that week, and then I'd have been gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of, and I know we're running long already. Stan, are you going to talk about Tales of the Underworld?
I've only watched the first 2 episodes. So,
okay.
Yeah. I've been between the Jets playoffs and work, coming back to work and coming back from my trip and all that. I'm trying to catch up on stuff. I've been busy.
I just finished the 3rd today. So I finished the first arc. Scott, are you watching?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I was going to watch it yesterday, but had a busy weekend also.
Whenever we can all talk about it, I've got questions about the first 5 minutes.
I watched the first episode in Japan, actually, on the big screen.
Oh, very cool.
They showed it to us during the animation panel.
Very cool.
I'll have to watch it then.
It's actually really good. So we're halfway through I'm guessing Luthen isn't going to survive the series because we don't see him in Rogue One. And we know Saw's going to survive because he's there. I don't think Will's going to make it because Will wasn't part of Saw's group in Rogue One.
Bix, she's not going to make it.
Or Bix or Will. I said
Claire,
Cinta and
Cyril.
Well, Cinta just died, but
Val.
what's Val?
Cyril, Deidre.
Do we know? I'm sure the collective, we know, but do you guys know the time frame of Mon Mothma's speech in the Rebels animated?
That'd be after what we're going through now. Yeah, I'm thinking it's like a year before A New Hope, right? Or 2 years?
I don't know.
So
and see, that's what I want to find out.
Do we think we find out probably episodes, was it 10, 11, 12? Because they say right after episode 12, you could literally watch Rogue One.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we may get because in Rogue One, she was already in hiding. Mon Mothma was.
Yeah.
So it would have to be this coming up these episodes then, because it's one more year, so that takes it to 2 years before.
Yeah. So it would
still need to get K2SO programmed.
Yep.
And working.
So it will have to happen in the next 6 episodes for sure.
Yeah.
At least in the world, it would have to. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about what's that other little red droid that for some reason they left on the planet so he could tell Andor? How come he's not around? Andor went back to the planet and
what was his name? BMO or
B2E?
Yeah.
B2E. He was supposed to tell Andor where they were. Where Bix was? Why didn't he take him with him? Where's he now? Because he went to. The idea was Cassian would go back to that wheat planet.
Wheat planet. Yeah.
Yeah. And B2 Emo would tell him where to find Bix, and he was supposed to take him with him, I thought.
Yeah.
He left him.
Yeah.
Poor B2. He's still waiting.
Cassie.
And we're waiting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. And I will...
be late again.
No. Have a good night, guys.
Alrighty.
Have a good night.
Take us away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us about your idea for a show and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. Don't forget to join us on YouTube, like us and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a new show. All logos, songs, music, and sounds that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be owned by the Solo Show podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.